Hi everyone, I'm Sach and welcome back to my crochet channel. Now last week I talked about the 5 things that I don't really care to crochet. That doesn't mean I won't make them or design some of them. They're just not my favorites. Well, this week I was asked to tell you my 5 favorite things to crochet. So we're going to keep today's video super positive. All right, so I have a list here, and I'm the type of person that I really love a project that I can sit down and watch a good movie, like maybe a Hallmark movie or a couple of series in a row, kind of binge watch while I'm working on a project. But I also love smaller projects as well. All right, so I have these numbered. They're not in number of importance because I love all 5 of these things equally. I don't love this one the best and then, the next one second best or something like that. These are just 5 of my favorite things that I love to crochet. So number 1 on my list of items that I love to crochet are blankets. And a lot of people don't like to crochet them because they're time consuming, but I really find them very soothing. I love to make big chunky blankets. I love to do sample blankets. I love to do throws, baby blankets. I've even put on here lovey blankets, which are the smaller blankets. I just really love that. And I also love designing them. And these things on this list are going to be things that I not only love to crochet, but love to design. And I really love designing blankets because they're fun to give away. You can make up a lot of blankets, testing a lot of different kinds of yarns that you like, and finish them and have them set aside. Then when somebody that you know or in your family gets married, or maybe gets a new home, a new baby, or a change in their life, you can give them a blanket as a gift. And I always put a little note on there that says something about, I hope you're wrapped in love and warmth. Something like that. I mean, blankets are just a fantastic gift. Everybody can use a brand new blanket. And so that's why blankets are one of my favorite things to crochet. Number 2 on the list, believe it or not, are granny squares. Granny squares are one of the very first things I learned to crochet when I was about 11 or 12. I went over to my friend's house and I'd already learned how to crochet in rows with single crochets. I taught myself from a library book because I was that kid who lived at the library. I read all the time. And I had good friends there. One of the librarians said, have you tried any craft books? Because I pretty much read everything in the children's department and was heading into the adult department books. And so I found a couple of good crochet books that I really loved. I don't even think they're in print anymore. They're very old. And I had learned a few stitches. Well, I went over to my friend's house. Her mother was making granny squares. And I was intrigued. She's who originally taught me the chain 5 join at the beginning. And so that's why part of the reason I really love that particular type of join. But anyway, I love granny squares. There are a gazillion ways to make a granny square and a gazillion projects that you can make using different types of granny squares. And when I say granny squares, I love all the shapes as well. Hexagons and rectangles and all kinds of shapes that you can make, triangles, and put granny squares together and make all different types of things. Blankets and bags and hats and sweaters and scarves and all kinds of things that you could make with granny squares. And I also love them because they're a great way to use up leftover yarns. You can always, if you've got a few different colors laying around and you're watching a movie or you're going on a trip, throw them in a bag and just whip up some granny squares in a bunch of different sizes. And then you can set them aside, and then when you get a whole bunch of them, you can make something out of them. And so that's why I love granny squares. I know a lot of people don't like them. They find them tedious and they don't like sewing them together. But, I do have a video on the continuous join where you can put them together without having to cut. And you can find that in my playlist under granny squares. Also, I think it's in the crochet techniques playlist. Now, my third thing that I love to crochet is pillows, stuffies. Not the little ammies. Those are okay. They're not my favorites. I mean, I do like making them and giving them away. But I love to make pillows. Like this big pillow down there. I love those pillows. Any kind of a pillow I love to make, whether it's a stuffy or a pillow, or maybe a poof like my dogs sit on. They're just a big circle, and we stuffed them tight, and I can toss those in the wash machine. One thing about washing stuffies is if you put an old tennis shoe in there, it'll knock that stuffing around so that it gets nice and dry in the dryer. And in the wash machine, it'll knock it around so it gets everything clean. I have grandkids, I know. But I really love making them. I especially love making them out of thick yarns. I rarely ever make them out of a single strand of yarn. I almost always do like a thick yarn or a blanket yarn or something like that. Or I'll hold 2 or 3 strands together and make stuffies and puffies and whatever you want to call them. They're pillows, stuffies, softies, whatever you want to call them. I do love making those. They're just super fun, and my grandkids love playing them, and that's probably part of the reason that I love making them is because they enjoy playing with them. Sometimes they just throw them at each other and have a lot of fun. So, number 4 on the list is wraps and shawls. I love making wraps and shawls, and sort of for the same reason that I love making blankets is because you can use up leftover yarns and put some beautiful colors together, but also they're great to give away. One of my favorite things to do, and I think I've talked about this before, is I like to make up wraps and shawls in different colors and different weights, you know, and they're just beautiful to make using lots of different stitches. And then I love to just walk up to someone and give it to them and give them a hug and tell them, I love you, I'm praying for you, I hope you have a wonderful day, or I just want to encourage you, or, you know, or someone going through a hard time, you can walk up and just wrap it around them and say, here's a hug from me. You know, that's one of the things I love about shawls and wraps. And someone asked me the other day, do people even wear these anymore? Have you been to a restaurant lately where they're just like blasting the air conditioner? It might be 100 degrees outside, but that restaurant is like down to 0. And I always keep a cardigan or a sweater or a jean jacket or a wrapper shawl with me. Then I can just whip it up, put it around my shoulders and warm up a little bit. And it's kind of nice just to have one on hand. I like rectangle ones and I like triangle ones. And ones shaped like wings. I like them all. I love wraps and shawls. They're just super fun. And also oversized scarves that can be worn as a scarf, but also as like a shawl as well. Yeah, I just really love making them, and I really love giving them away. So last on my list, number 5, is washcloths. And I really love making them all time of the year. And the reason is they're a great way to learn a new stitch and make something useful. You can grab some leftover cotton from your cotton stash, and I'm going over that way because I've got a plastic drawer thing that has all my leftover cottons in it. There's 1, 2, 3 drawers full of leftover cottons, and that's just cottons left over from projects. And I can put colors together, and sometimes we put colors together, you think that's not going to match, and then it looks beautiful together. And you can practice different stitches, make something useful. And I put them in a stack, and then when I have someone stay with me, I give them one. When I go on a trip and I maybe stay with somebody else, I'll take some, make some on the way, and leave them behind with a note that says thank you. It's also fun to make them for people that are going to have like a brand new home. You can make them a set of washcloths. Maybe a new baby, you can make some in baby colors. Getting married or going off to college. Lots of different times when you want to give someone some washcloths, you can make them a set of 3 or 4. And they don't really have to match like matchy-matchy, but you can do trims the same and things like that. Again, use up your extra cotton yarns, practice a new stitch, and make something useful that you can give away. And so those are the 5 things I really love to crochet. But when it really comes down to it, I pretty much love to crochet everything, except for those few things I mentioned last week on the 5 things I really care not to crochet. And you can click that link and see what those are. That doesn't mean I won't make them. It just means they're not my favorite. Well, thanks for being with me today. I hope you had fun with our silly little video, learned some things about me. And I would like to know what your favorite things to crochet are. And the reason I ask this is because I can make things that you like or you're looking for. And be sure and check out all my playlists because I have over 1,000 videos and there might be something in there that you're looking for. See you next time.